So, you did the smart thing. You invested in a top-of-the-line fortified home, where every single piece is engineered for maximum safety. But what happens when you need to add a little detail that wasn't in the original plan? Like a dog door. It seems so simple, right? But as we're about to find out, that small opening can create a massive problem. I mean, think about it. You've spent all this time and money to protect your home from the absolute worst that nature can throw at it. So could something as simple as a dog door really put all of that in jeopardy? Could it actually invalidate your fortified certification and maybe even cost you those valuable insurance discounts? Well, let's dig in. So this is the situation so many homeowners find themselves in. On one hand, you have this incredible fortified home. It's practically a fortress built to withstand hurricanes. But on the other hand, you've got a furry family member who just wants the freedom to go outside. So how do you do that? How do you give them that freedom without punching a weak spot right into your home's armor? Okay, so let's just cut right to the chase. The answer to that big question is a big, loud yes. The people who set the standards for fortified homes are super clear about this. If a dog door is installed the wrong way, it absolutely can compromise your home's gold designation. This isn't just a hole in the wall, it's a potential point of catastrophic failure. So why? Why is this such a huge deal? Well, to really get it, you have to understand how a fortified home is put together. It's not just a collection of strong materials, it's a complete interlocking system. And when you cut a hole in a system like that, it can have a serious domino effect. At the heart of this whole thing is a concept called the continuous load path. The easiest way to think about it is like a structural chain. It's this amazing system of steel connectors, strapping, and reinforced joints that literally runs from your roof down through the walls all the way to your foundation. In a storm, that chain is what holds your house together. And the very last thing you want is a weak link. So a bad installation basically invites three huge threats into your home. First, you've weakened the wall against high winds and, flying debris. Second, and this is the big one, you literally break that continuous load path we were just talking about. You snap the chain. And third, you've just created a perfect doorway for wind-driven rain to come pouring into your house. Now hold on. Before you start boarding up the doggy door and telling Fido he's grounded forever, there is good news. You don't have to choose between your pet and your home safety. The Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, the IBHS, they've already figured all this out. They've created official guidelines for doing it the right way. All right, so let's stop talking about the problem and focus on the solution. We're going to walk through the official, fortified approved method for installing a dog door. Think of this as the playbook for keeping your pet happy and your fortress of a home totally secure. Okay, this is probably the single most important rule to remember, so listen up. You can install a dog door in an exterior wall, but only if you follow the super strict guidelines. What you can never, ever do is cut into an existing, pressure-rated exterior door or window. The second you do that, you've instantly voided its safety rating and compromised that whole part of your house. So, if you are going with the approved wall insulation, the first rule you gotta know is about size. The opening you create can be no larger than 3 square feet. Period. That's a hard limit, not a suggestion, and it's designed to minimize the breach in your home's defensive shell. And it's not just about the size either. The dog door itself has to be impact rated, which means it's been tested to take a hit from flying debris, or the opening needs a separate protective cover, that is. You also have to get the wall framing around the opening professionally reinforced to handle the structural load. And finally, you have to document every single step with photos for verification. So let's just walk through the exact steps. This is your compliance checklist. Number 1, and this is the most important, you have to consult a certified fortified evaluator before you even think about picking up a tool. They'll guide you on how to reinforce the wall, help you pick the right unit, tell you what photos to take, and then at the end, they'll give you the official verification that keeps your certification safe. All right, so we've gone through the risks, we've gone through the official solution. What's the real bottom line here? When you boil it all down, what's the one thing you absolutely need to remember from all this? Well, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from Brian Lehman, an expert at Alabama Coastal Insurance, pretty much says it all. The stakes just could not be any clearer. Getting this wrong doesn't just make your house weaker. It can actually void your certification and take away your insurance discounts. It's a risk to your safety and your wallet. So at the end of the day, it's so important to remember that a fortified home isn't just a house. It's a complete safety system where every single piece matters. And that really leads to the final question you have to ask yourself. Is one small unapproved change really worth risking that entire system? Before you make that cut, make sure you talk to an expert.